Eco-worthy 120W solar panel kit promises 400 Wh a day and a full charge of a 12V40Ah battery under full sun. Either we've reached affordable off-grid freedom for campers and sheds, or it's another glossy kit that looks great on paper and wobbles in the real world. With a 30A charge controller, pre-drilled mounting, and a 4.5-star rating, it sounds like criminally generous value, but here's the thing. Numbers in solar can be, let's say, optimistic. Here's what caught my attention and what didn't. I installed this on a small camper roof, ran it on a test bench with meters, and lived with it for 2 solid weeks in mixed weather. I've put the direct link to check current pricing in the description, but before you click anything, let me show you what I discovered after 2 weeks of testing. EcoWorthy claims this 120W kit will reliably top up a 12V battery off-grid, make installation easy, and protect your battery if you leave it plugged in indefinitely. The marketing headlines boil down to up to 400 Wh daily output in full sun, enough to fully recharge a 12V40Ah battery. 30A solar charge controller that prevents overcharge and keeps your battery healthy long-term. Simple off-grid setup with pre-drilled holes and included brackets for quick mounting. Versatile use for sheds, campers, boats, trailers, and small carts. Sounds great for the price, right? Pretty bold claims for a budget kit, but here's where things get interesting. They claim 400 Wh a day. Reality check, 120W is the panel's nameplate at lab conditions. In the real world, panel temperature, angle, and controller type shave that down. What'd you actually get? On clear, cool days, I logged 320–430 Wh, with midday charge currents hovering between 6.2A and 7.0A at the battery during absorb. On hazy or partly cloudy days, it was 180–280 Wh. Overcast, 80–150 Wh. Here's why. Standard test conditions assume 1000 Wm2 and 25 degrees C cell temperature. On a warm roof, expect 10–25% less panel output. Add PWM controller losses and wiring drop, and that 120W becomes 80–100W at the battery most of the time. They imply it can fully charge a 12V40Ah battery in a day. Let's be real here. A 12V40Ah lead acid stores about 480 Wh. Their own 400 Wh figure already doesn't cover charging losses, typically 10–20%, and you shouldn't drain lead acid to empty anyway. In my tests, going from roughly 50% to full in one sunny day was realistic. From near empty to full in one day, not unless you catch exceptional sun and keep loads off. Here's where it gets mathematically impossible. If you draw power during the day, say a 12V fridge at 30–40 Ah/day, the net gain drops fast. They say plug it in all the time, the controller avoids overcharging. What you actually get is a basic 30A PWM controller that floated my AGM at about 13.6–13.8V and absorbed around 14.4V when set to sealed lead acid. That's fine for maintenance. I verified with a multimeter and a shunt, no evidence of overvoltage. Caveats: PWM isn't as efficient as MPPT, and cheap controllers can be loose on voltage accuracy by a couple tenths. For lithium Li-Fi-Po4, you must set the correct profile, and note there's no low-temp charging protection built in. Your battery's BMS must handle that. They promise easy installation. True-ish. The panel comes with pre-drilled holes and Z brackets. Mounting on my camper took about an hour with butyl tape and sealant not included. The kit wiring is adequate for short runs, but here's where it gets interesting. On a longer run, the included cable gauge can cause noticeable voltage drop. I measured roughly 0.30–0.5V drop at 6–7A over longer distances. Upgrading to 10 AWG for anything over 15–20 feet tightened things up. They pitch wide use, shed, camper, boat, cart, accurate for small loads. This kit is perfect for maintaining a 12V battery, powering LED lights, fans, device charging, and maybe a compact 12V fridge if you're in consistent sun and budget your usage. But if you're eyeing coffee makers, microwaves, or AC units, that's not off-grid freedom, that's expensive confusion. You'll need far more wattage and a beefier battery bank. Charging performance. Midday current landed in the 6.2–7.0A range at 14.2–14.6V with the PWM controller, translating to roughly 9100W hitting the battery in ideal moments. Daily harvest peaked around 430 Wh on a clear, cool day with optimal tilt and landed near 250 Wh with mild haze. Shade kills it fast. Even partial shadow across a string dropped output by more than 50%. That's normal, but worth noting. Controller and safety. The included 30A PWM controller handled the single 120W panel easily and ran only mildly warm. It provides overcharge, short circuit, and reverse polarity protection, plus adjustable battery type. It is not MPPT, so you leave 10-25% potential harvest on the table compared to an MPPT unit in many conditions. The upside, 30A headroom, means you can add another 120W panel later in parallel and still be within its current rating, as long as your wiring and fusing are upgraded. Build and install. The panel's tempered glass and aluminum frame feel solid, edges clean, MC4 connectors secure. Pre-drilled holes and Z-brackets make mounting straightforward. Here's what nobody tells you. The screws in many budget kits are soft, pre-drill, and don't over-torque. Weatherproof the roof penetrations yourself. Sealant is not included. The junction box had bypass diodes which helped minimize but not eliminate shade impact. Use cases and comparisons. For a starter kit under typical $200 pricing, this performs on par with name brands like Renagi's 100W PWM bundles, often at a lower cost per watt. It's a legit entry into solar for small off-grid setups. What the marketing doesn't mention: if you plan to run a fridge daily or camp in shoulder seasons, an MPPT controller upgrade and a second panel make a night and day difference. Recommendation: recommended for beginners and light off-grid use with a couple smart upgrades in mind. Pros: solid real-world output for the size, simple install, protective controller good for float maintenance, and expansion headroom with the 30A rating. Cons: PWM means lower efficiency than MPPT, cable gauge can be thin for long runs, and 120W alone won't handle heavier daily loads. At a typical sub-$200 street price and a 4.5-star track record, it's good value if you know its limits. Worth it if you want to keep a 12V battery healthy, power lights and small devices, and maybe a compact fridge in good sun. Skip it if you expect to run big appliances. Stay savvy out there. Thanks for watching. If this review saved you from wasting money or helped you find something actually worth buying, I've put the link to check current pricing and read more reviews in the description. And hey, if you do decide to buy through my link, it helps fund these investigations without costing you extra. Drop your questions or your real-world watt-hour numbers in the comments. I read them all. Next up, I'm testing whether a budget MPPT upgrade actually boosts this kit as much as the internet claims. Until then, charge smart and camp brighter.